Hi, I'm Mike Edwards. The website is diydoctor.org.uk. We're out on site today in sunny Bradford on Avon. We've got to put some RSJs into an old property, and that's going to involve fixing timber joists and brackets on the walls, etc, etc, etc. So we're going to use this opportunity. We've set up a little workbench here, as you can see. We're going to use the opportunity to demonstrate a range of screws, all available from Screwfix: turbo screws, edge screws, and any number of screws. So there's 4 or 5 different types that we're going to demonstrate, and we'll introduce each one as we go. So the first screw we're going to trial out today is the famous Turbo Gold. The box says it's the professional choice. It's certainly my choice. I'll show you why in a moment. The first thing to note is that it comes in as they all do, in a really handy pack. There's enough screws in there for one job. There's enough variety in there for one job. 12 different sizes of screw. All of the sizes are on the front cover. 30 pieces, 30 screws in each one, and you see it goes from 60mm all the way down to I think 25mm. Actually even smaller than that, 12mm screws. So a really good range of screws in 12 simple compartments, very easy to carry around, and a lovely little carrying case as well. This is what it's called a close edge driving screw. It's got a rifled shaft. Now what that means is, I'll show you, I'm sure the camera will pan up or insert a close-up of what I'm about to show you. The shaft of the screw is like a normal screw with the thread, etc., except that there's a rifled slot put into that screw all the way up. Now what that allows it to do is, as you're drilling, as you're screwing into the timber, it cuts the timber out and runs the timber up the slot, so it's kind of forcing its own hole. Now that in itself allows you to drill very, very close to the edge. If you have some moulding, professionals will know what I mean here, if you have some moulding to put on a top of a skirting or to a cover strip or something, sometimes you need to screw very, very close to the edge. And what happens more often than not when you're screwing close to the edge is that the timber splits, and then you've got to spend the rest of the day with some filler and making good. Using these close edge screws, Turbo Gold close edge screws, that's a single thread. I'll show you some double threaded screws later on, but single thread that cuts its way through the timber, and rather than just splitting the timber, it forces the surplus timber up through the rifled shaft. Okay, so this is quite close to the edge. It's about as close as the edge you would ever want to get. And even then, you know, you're kind of in danger of splitting the timber. But you can see that using, if I turn the drill the right way, using this rifled shaft, no sign of the timber splitting, no sign of the edge timber coming away, no sign of any damage, and a nice neat job. There's no pilot holes in this timber, there's no countersinking. This is purely for demonstration purposes. But if you countersink that head in there, if you drill a little pilot hole, you can be absolutely guaranteed, using these close edge screws, that you're not going to split timber and get an untidy job. And that's the close edge rifle shafted screw.